Welcome to the 18th episode of the Nonstop Podcast with Pooja. With me today, I have a no introduction name, Dr. Taru Jindal. Thank you very much, Dr. Taru Jindal, for coming on the podcast. Just a little brief background about you before I let you speak yourself. You are a no new name in the healthcare sector, specifically sectors that focus on promoting women's healthcare, which has not yet been given the light to shine. You have been on stages of Global Achievers. You have also had some recognitions on starting the nonprofit organization on healthcare and menstrual health. So, thank you very much once again for joining me this morning. Doctor, a little bit more from you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Taru Jindal. Thanks a lot, Pooja, for having me here. I hail from Mumbai and I'm 41 years old. I have always wanted to work in the field of women's health because I felt that women's health was the the aspect of health that wasn't really wholesome, that wasn't really well cared for. So during my MBBS years, also, I used to feel that women's health is where I need to work, I need to be, and that's how gynecology is where I entered. And I completed my MS in gynecology in 2013. And ever since, I've been working in various aspects of women's health, not the traditional clinic care that you think of, but most of my work has been in the community. And I started off my journey in gynecology by working in the communities of Bihar. And I then went on to work on lactation and then went on to work on vaginismus. So most of my work has been in these three fields.
Yeah, that's
And
absolutely.
thanks a lot, Pooja, for having me here today. It's an honor.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I think when I have to start off with you, I kind of have to even prepare myself to ask where do I begin in the contributions that you've done. So let's just start off on your early ages of your career. How did you really pick on community welfare and non-orthodox medical healthcare? So you have worked from Mumbai. You went to rural Bihar. And in rural Bihar, I'm sure things are not as pristine or as on a positive edge. So you really focused a lot on healthcare, lactation, breastfeeding. What really appalled you was also made into a book. You have a book
Yes.
that's very well known. It's wonderful. A doctor's experiment in Bihar. And I'm going to ask a privilege for you to tell us about your experience and why you made it as a book.
So I must tell you that I and my then boyfriend, Dr. Dharav Shah, who is now my husband, while we were dating, we always used to think, since both of us are from Mumbai, that Mumbai doesn't need us actually. Every single nook and corner of Mumbai has a super specialist. So where should we really be so that our skills are truly, truly utilized the best way? So both of us used to feel that the moment we finish our MD, we'll just leave Mumbai, right? Not that we don't love Mumbai. I mean, we love it. But as far as contribution was concerned, we felt that we had to be outside Mumbai in a rural area where, so to say, people don't even get a doctor for 100 kilometers or so. So we wanted to be in those areas and we prepared ourselves like that. And during our post graduation time, we actually I prepared myself in a lot of parallel fields like anesthesia and medicine and surgery so that if I go to a rural area, I don't have to say that I'm just a gynac, right? I can just deal with everything and anything. And for whatever reason, I came to know about a project in Bihar, and I landed up in Bihar because of that. And the job that I was given was that in the district hospitals of Bihar, they told me that cesareans were done with a vertical section, with a vertical incision. And this used to be done decades ago. I mean, nobody does that anymore. And so my challenge was to go and train gynecologists in rural hospitals of Bihar in horizontal cesareans and in advanced childbirth techniques so that we could save more mothers there. So I said, well enough, this sounds like a good idea. And I ended up in a hospital called Motihari, which is Champaran. It was bordering Nepal. Champaran, everyone would know by Gandhiji's Neel Satyagraha, which happened in uh, Champaran. So that's how I landed there. The very first day, even though I had known things were in a very bad space, I did not realize it until the first day when I saw a sweeper deliver a woman with bare hands. And this was right in the morning at 11 o'clock. And it was beyond shocking for me to see the stitches being taken with sui dhaga, the sui dhaga that we use for our buttons, right? And then she, with the same hands with which she swept the floor, she just inserted them inside and removed the blood clots. And I was almost about to faint because I had come from a top medical college, having known the best methods of asepsis, and here I was watching this. And frankly speaking, there weren't any doctors around, and that's why a sweeper was doing it. And there's nothing against a sweeper, but the question here is, where were the doctors? And that's when I understood that a lot of doctors were not really working in hospitals, which were supposed to be in the hospitals, but they were working outside in their private nursing homes, and they would only come in for a cesarean. And I realized the entire system was being managed by sweepers and dais and traditional birth attendants and nurses who were not even trained to properly take blood pressure of a mother, forget baby's heart rate and advanced complications. And so this is where I landed up in, and the rest is history.
Wow, it's so mesmerizing every time you say a story like that. And I'm sure after you landed there, you kind of had to not just go with the flow, but also have to instill the idea of hygiene, or at least try, and have to strategize. Now your doctor aspect of things step a little back, and you need to start thinking on a more management level. If this is the cultural ambitions of the state or the city that you have been thrown into, it's very hard for them to come out of these ideologies. So what kind of strategies did you like bring in? Because I'm sure
Yes.
as a one
Yes.
doctor, it might have been, a hurricane of a task. So let us know.
So the first thing that I did is I just kept my thought process away of what is a doctor, or what is a nurse, and what is a sweeper. I just kept that away because there were no distinctions anymore, right? A sweeper was delivering, and so a doctor could sweep. And that's exactly what I did. I started off my journey there by sweeping the operation theater for about 4 hours along with the staff so that they could understand that a doctor could also sweep. And so they were receptive and open to my suggestions. And that is where our almost satyagraha in that hospital started. And they started trusting me. And then over the next 2 3 months, I had a lot of small clinical drills for them, right from blood pressure to taking baby's heart rate to delivering babies to, very basic stuff that you're taught in nursing school. I think I helped them go through these drills, and for example, even disinfection of instruments, right, which they were not doing because their disinfection instrument was defunct; it wasn't working. So right from procuring these instruments, finding these instruments in the storeroom, to getting them to work in the hospitals, to getting the manpower to use those instruments, I think 2 to 3 months was about a lot of clinical work where I stood with them and helped them save babies, helped them save mothers. And that is when they started seeing the beauty of what we were doing. And very soon we had a district collector who is like the head of the district. A new one came in and he was very interested in the work that we were doing. He really supported us in every way. And so administratively also, we had a lot of support. So now we were working on the clinical skills and the administrative skills. The hospital transformed in just about like 6 months to 1 year. And in a year's time, that hospital received the Kaya Kalp Award from the government of India. Kaya Kalp is in it's a Hindi word. In English, it means transformation. So it received that Kaya Kalp Award for being the best district hospital of Bihar in that year. So people said it went from being one of the worst to the best in just under 1 year. And I think that story was so phenomenal that I just had to capture it in a book. And that's how I wrote a book called A Doctor's Experiments in Bihar. And it's available everywhere. And I would love for you to read this whenever you find time. I have recorded every single day of that revolutionary story in Bihar.
So, yeah, before I jump on to the next topic, I just want to quickly ask a connective question on this. You also transformed not just physicians who came into work from metropolitan cities, but also the locals on not just hygiene, but also the
Yeah.
operative part of the cesarean surgery itself, because that was the practice there.
Yeah. So I was very open to training whoever came in front of me. I didn't say that, hey, only a nurse should do it, because doctors weren't doing their job. So I had to train whoever was available. And that's why I actually trained traditional birth attendants or dais and even sweepers to take stitches. If they were doing it the right way, I was ready to train them because the right people weren't there. So we have to train the wrong people. The point is, are you trained enough? That's the question. The question is not who you are. The question is, are you trained properly?
That's wonderful, Doctor. With that, I have to move on to the next question, which is why we have you here. Of course, I would like to touch upon your TEDx topic, but right after this. So, I was your patient slash student slash observer of the incredible work you do. I have been inspired to my gut. I was also, I would say, a victim of vaginismus, not a condition, but a victim because of my own thoughts. And you are not a doctor for that, but you are a conditioner to help us unvictimize ourselves. And
Wow.
this and this is actually a medical problem. And this is not well spoken enough, like amongst many others. So tell us what you do with Vaginismus. You have your own program in Proactive Offer, which is also an organization and a clinical body. What is Vaginismus? Why did you pick it up? And why is it
Yeah.
important for us to
Yeah.
talk?
So vaginismus or vaginismus, whichever way you want to pronounce it, is difficulty in allowing any kind of vaginal insertion. Now, that could be a finger, that could be a tampon, a cup, or your partner's penis, even though you really wish to do it. So, that is what is vaginismus. Now, vaginismus is a very perplexing condition because the woman really wishes to do it. She would say that, "Hey, I really wanted to go ahead with this guy. I was waiting for so many years to get married, and now I was waiting to do it with my husband. And the moment he came close, my vagina just shut down like a wall. It felt like my thighs were closing in, my buttocks were tensing, and I was withdrawing on the bed, and I pushed my partner away reflexly. It is not something she did on purpose. It is something that just happened reflexly. Now, this is vaginismus. It creates a lot of feelings of inadequacy and helplessness because the woman is often confused. What is going on with my body? I don't want to do this, but this is happening to me. So, this is vaginismus, and we have been running a program to treat vaginismus for the last 5 years now. And I have been doing this with an organization called Proactive for Her, which is a wholesome, non-judgmental space for women to come in and get treated for a variety of conditions. And they are the ones who support us to do this program. And 650 plus Indian women and a few international women have also healed vaginismus with us in the last 5 years.
Inclusive of me. So a drop in the ocean.
Congratulations.
Yes, yes, doctor. So I think it's very important for us to deep dive on this, right? Like it's a condition, and I'm sure we've all been there, including you, because the cornerstone of you starting the program is because you yourself were victimized by this demon. Some don't understand that it is a condition and a medical condition. If you go to doctors, they say that, okay, try a little harder, get into dilation procedure. If you talk with, I don't know, Indian conditioned family, society, they say, oh, it's all in your head. Well, that's partially true. It is in your head, but in your subconscious head, which you don't have direct access to. So let us know how medically you can heal this and what
Yeah.
is the misinterpretative misinformation that we need to stop in this
Yeah.
aspect.
So the number one thing to understand is there are two parts to the mind. The 5% part to your mind is the conscious mind that is saying yes to penetration, but 95% part of your mind is subconscious. It is like the storeroom of your past, right? and all things that have happened to you or to others around you has stored in that subconscious. Like, so 95% of your mind is saying no to penetration. There is something in the subconscious that is saying, hey, Taru, this is not safe for you. Or hey, Pooja, this is not safe for you. And who wins? Of course, the subconscious wins because it is 95%. To understand what could be those reasons in that 95% subconscious that causes vaginismus, is number one, the belief that sex is painful and sex is shameful. Now, if sex is painful and shameful, it's your body's responsibility then to protect you against penetration, because your body is like a security guard. It's always trying to protect you. And then it sends signals to the vaginal muscles to shut down, like a line of control is shutting down against an enemy. The next could be bad touch, or any, even hearing about bad touch, about someone else's sexual assault could be very triggering for your subconscious mind. Or some stories around painful childbirth, even very painful periods, or childhood trauma, or any concepts that the vagina is small and the penis is big, vagina is very vulnerable. So these are some things that the girl has been exposed to during her growing up years, which are recorded in her subconscious. And that is sending a protective reflex to the vagina to shut down. Actually, vagina is like an elastic rubber band. It can expand to even 9 centimeters to deliver a baby's head. And in this case, an erect penis is 3.5 centimeters wide. So there is no space issue. There is not even a hymen issue, because your hymen is too thin and fragile to prevent penetration. And most of us have even lost it by the time we come into our first penetration. What is happening is your vaginal muscles are shutting down because your mind is saying no. So these muscles are only listening to the mind, just as your eye muscles will shut down to prevent dust from going in. This is not something your eyes do. This is something your mind tells your eye to do. Similarly, this is the mind telling the vaginal muscles to shut down, and that is why it feels like a wall. It feels like there is no space. So this is vaginismus, completely out of the woman's hand. So when we start treating it, we actually open that subconscious mind and find out what exactly was recorded in your mind, and heal it very systematically through beautiful methods like EMDR and inner child healing. And on the other side, we train the vaginal muscles to expand and relax instead of contract. So there are a lot of exercises and dilators also used for that. So a combination of these two brings beautiful results in about 8 to 12 weeks. And like I said, 650 plus women have healed with us in the online vaginismus healing program that we are running with Proactive for Her.
Well, that's such wonderful ideas of yours that's come to life. And you have a very systematic approach to this. It's a big claim to make. In 8 weeks, you can come through a condition that you just simply don't understand, right? Yeah.
So I
And
just wanted to clarify here, it is a medical condition. However, the vaginal muscles are absolutely normal visibly. Biologically, when you get an exam done, your vagina will look absolutely biologically normal. It's just that the muscles have gotten very tensed over a period of time by a repeated contraction, right? So psychosomatic approach to healing, which is the mind and the body approach to healing, is what is taken. And yes, I also wanted to add that I did it because I also had vaginismus for 7 years. And the suffering of it brought me and my husband to create a 4-step formula for healing vaginismus, which we use in the program.
well, that's wonderful, doctor. And I think when you make such claims on the level of 8 weeks healing, this is on a very, higher level of understanding of how, can somebody go through, this is not one of those wellness centers where you go for a few weeks and you feel very rejuvenated. This is
So
honestly,
generally, I would add here, Pooja, is 8 weeks. The program is 8 weeks. However, we continue to support women after 8 weeks. I have seen most women heal between anywhere between 8 to 16 weeks. Some women heal prior to 8 weeks. Some women will heal even after 12 weeks. But I would say the majority will heal between 8 to 12 weeks.
yeah, and the 4-step formula, right, that you go by, this is very well understood that biologically there is nothing wrong with you. That is why there is no concrete medicines for it. The second other option surgically is a dilation method. Again, it's done. It gives you some relief, but again, because if it's your subconscious mind that's not allowing
Yeah.
you to open yourself, it again is a problem. So, doctor, let us know what really is contraction in real time. It's not that someone's tensing it, but it's just a feeling, right? It's not that your muscles are actually tight.
So the muscles actually are actually tightening. If you look at the vaginal opening, it could be something like this, okay, a small opening. Now, what would happen is if something would come close to the vagina, and these are the muscles around the vagina. The moment something close comes close to the vagina, just like your eyes shut down the moment something comes close to the eye, your vaginal muscles actually contract and shut the vaginal opening, and it feels like there is a wall and there is no space. This is tension and actual contraction of the vaginal muscles. And over a period of time, because they've done this so much, they have learned a pattern of tension and contraction and they've become very tight. If you actually were to measure it, you would find very tight muscles down there. So pelvic floor relaxation is one of the things that we teach in the program to cure this.
Okay, that's wonderful, doctor. Also, when you first had this condition yourself, and I'm sure this was back in the days where even in even e-commerce was not very readily available. So, how easy was it for you to find dilators, and how easy was it for you to convince that dilation is the way forward and
So
self-dilation?
my husband is a psychiatrist. So my husband had always told me that this is the way ahead. It's just that I was always avoidant and not really very proactive in healing. And it took me 7 years to come to a space where I felt that if I don't heal vaginismus now, I might just lose my marriage. So I read up everything online, but there wasn't much from India, maybe just one article from India, but there was a lot of material on it from international sites, which I read up. And like I said, I created a structure for myself. And along with a lot of emotional healing that I had already undergone, I added some dilation work. We did some relationship work. We did some sensate focus, and just everything kind of came together like a recipe, like a curry, all ingredients came together like a curry, and I healed in 3.5 weeks. And I remember after healing, we both felt so overwhelmed, not because it was painful or anything. In fact, it was anything but that. We just felt that it was so easy that we should have received help earlier, right? We should have received help earlier. And we felt that now that we both have gone through this, we probably have to spend time creating some structure for others to heal. And that's how this program started in 2020. And we are right now running the 41st batch of the program.
Okay, wow, that's very ironical because you're 41 today, and this is almost a milestone.
41st.
Yeah.
Yes, it's growing with me. The program is growing.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, doctor. And I think being a lawyer myself and having to explain clients when they come with legal propositions, it seems like larger than life problem for them. But as a lawyer, I tend to think of a very solution oriented approach, and it's not so big. I'm sure even as a doctor for you, because medical education has gone hand in hand with you, none of this is overwhelming. But the fact that you are educative about it and how law is supposed to be a layman's information. Medical education is also supposed to be accessible in today's time. When I finally formulated that I had this vaginismus, I didn't find any credible articles, not even research papers online that spoke on this in a coined terminology. I'm sure you're
Yes.
trying to break this amongst your other activities on medical health and healthcare and education. You also have a couple of NGOs. So let us know about that.
So, number one, I have a podcast called Vaginismus in India Stories of Hope and Healing. And in that podcast, I have interviewed a few women who've healed with us. Now, that is extremely inspiring to hear someone real time and hear their story. So, if anyone of your audience wants to go through that, you can go through it. Second, I have a YouTube channel called Dr. Taru Jindal where you can go through a lot of videos of mine on vaginismus and understand the condition. Of course, you can go through Proactive for Her's website as well. Regarding an NGO, I do have an NGO called Powerful Gyaan that I run with my husband. However, the entire focus of Powerful Gyaan is addictions. We go a lot into tobacco, alcohol, cannabis, and basically spreading information. That's why it's called Gyan, right? Spreading information on various health issues. And yes, we have done some work on vaginismus as well. But the core of it is addictions. That's one of my NGOs called Powerful Gyaan.
Yeah, I wish I had, indefinite time with you, but just very quickly on what you have taken away from Powerful Gyan. What were your research and what have you taken away? Yeah.
So Powerful Gyan has helped us reach a lot of people through awareness work, because right now a lot of people think that in addictions treatment is the way. My husband seems to think that treatment is too late, right? It's very difficult to convert a person once he is already addicted. Prevention is the way, and hence spreading awareness is the main important thing in addictions. So that is what we do. We have a helpline and we have variety of talks on addictions. We also work on some other health issues like vaginismus, where we try and spread awareness on the topic, because it's always better to know about vaginismus before you get it, right? Preventing is far more important than treating vaginismus. I think that would happen after some point of time, that prevention would be something that we would be looking at. So yeah.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful, Doctor. And the final topic that I did want to touch with you is that, like, life was not just very bed of roses for you. It not just made you think of solutions. You have been a warrior of several unfortunate circumstances, which also made it to a TED talk, a very inspiring one on 25 or 55. When is it right to contribute? Let us know about a bit on your TED talk and what really made you.
So my TED talk started when I actually developed a brain tumor. My opportunity to do that TED talk came, and I spoke on my Bihar experience, 25 or 55, the right time to start the life of contribution. So that is the time I was actually thinking about uh, you know, frailty of life, whether I'm going to be alive or not. And thinking that, hey, thank God I did the Bihar work well in time and I did not wait to be 50 or 55 to make that contribution, because who knows I'm going to be alive or not. And doing it early in time, doing it when you're young, when you're energetic, you have the health on your side, you have probably not enough money, but definitely lots of ideas. That's the time contributing for the society, at least for 1 or 2 years, makes a lot of difference. And that was the meaning of that TED talk. That was the entire message in that.
That's really wonderful, Doctor. I think my 30 minutes with you went by a breeze, and I just have so many questions. But for the benefit of time, of course, we end the podcast by asking very quickly, what's the one movie that changed your life, and what's that one book, apart from the one
Yeah.
that you've written, gave you the strength? So, very quickly on that.
So I think my book is called A Doctor's Experiments in Bihar, because the book that inspired me the most was Gandhiji's autobiography, Experiments with Truth. And that is why my editor said this word experiments has to come here, because a lot of your work is inspired by Gandhiji. So Experiments with Truth is the book that I loved the most, that I read the most when I was growing up. And the second book was called, it was Che Guevara's. It was a movie on Che Guevara, where his 1 year uh, after his internship, 1 year he moves around South Africa, and he actually goes to visit the countryside, and that's how he completely switches from a doctor to a revolutionary. I forgot the name of that movie. That's the movie that I watched a lot. Yeah, Che Guevara's movie.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. We could have elaborated on every single word that you uttered, but from the program, I have gained a wonderful mentor, a friend, if I may say so myself. It has been nothing short of an inspiring journey from you. And I can say very confidently that no matter what was thrown at you, you only made prevention and the solution the focus of your name and your journey. And I wish you all the very
Thank
best,
you.
Doctor. And
Thank you.
thank you for joining me and giving me this time.
Thank you. Thank you. I just remember the name of the movie. It was called The Motorcycle Diaries.
All
So that's something that I loved. And thanks a lot for having me here and speaking about such important topics through your podcast. And thanks a lot, Pooja. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor.